Barnard Engineering, which is just based around the oh God.
Oh,
I'm off it now. Picture everyone in the room naked.
I don't know that.
Afternoon, Andrew. Thank you for joining us today.
Hello.
Andrew from Barnard Engineering, which is just a family-run business based around the road. Mm-hmm. Could you tell us a little bit more about Barnard Engineering?
Yeah, we're a civil and structural engineering consultancy, which means we can design anything from conversions of domestic buildings, new builds, knock-throughs for people wanting to just change the inside of their house, to the civils part, which is drainage, retaining walls. We do structural surveys, defects, temporary works, scaffolding, anything like that. So we're a GP of the structural engineering world.
Love it. So am I right in saying every day is a different day, different projects? You could be dealing with something big, something small. There's no sort of set work that you get involved in?
No, we do all sorts. We're almost like a GP of structural engineers. Some engineers just have a pigeonhole that they like doing. That's their bread and butter work. Whereas, yeah, I'm quite happy doing anything from a knock through from a kitchen to a dining room to working on. I've worked on the Mersey Gateway project, nuclear facilities. Yeah,
but can't talk about that.
But can't talk about that. Quite right. Yes. Yeah. So the jobs come in all shapes and sizes.
Wow.
Yeah.
I suppose not dissimilar to us in the sense that we deal with lots of different clients, from first-time buyers all the way up to those who maybe have retired and they're looking to have a nice retirement income. So every day is a new day, it's a new challenge.
And it keeps it interesting,
Is that
doesn't
part
it?
of the buzz? Yeah.
Yeah. I'd hate to just do the one job over and over again. It would get quite repetitive. So it's nice to service different customers. You're seeing different faces all the time, different challenge.
And I know recently, just before Christmas, you kindly helped one of our clients out who had a structural report done by someone who wasn't quite suitably qualified.
Wasn't quite qualified, yes.
Yeah.
And charged nearly as much as I did for not a lot of report, yes.
And of course you're chartered.
I'm a chartered structural engineer, yes.
Yeah, and have all the accreditations to go with that. So yeah, you kindly quickly did that report for her, because ultimately I think she was going to lose the property from a mortgage perspective, because the mortgage lender wanted to have that report to be able to say, yes, that property is a sound property to remortgage essentially. So yeah, thank you for that.
Yeah, that's good.
She praised you a lot.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, she was very grateful. I think at the end she was starting to sort of get at a wit's end with it all, really.
And a number of clients sometimes do that, because especially when moving houses, it's the paperwork at the end that's necessary. Sometimes we get people who are trying to buy or sell a house where somebody's made some alterations and not got building control approval, and it's the last thing that needs signing off, and if they don't get it, the house sale can fall through. So yeah, we often get rush jobs like that you have to sort of placate the home buyer and try and sort of ease everybody's mind.
Yeah, I think a big problem with that though is people wanting to maybe be a bit more cost savvy and get the nearest and cheapest person to do it, and it always doesn't pay out, does it, when it comes to...
No, lowest cost very rarely works.
So
it's all right hunting around trying to find a good deal, but cheapest deal isn't necessarily always the way forward.
It's nice to know that we're not the only industry that struggles from that, because obviously we're faced with the internet, and we have some clients that think they can go online and they can build their own portfolios, buy the best fund of the day on platforms, and hey ho, you don't need a financial advisor. But I think it comes down to that accountability, the qualification, the experience of actually having a professional look at something and do a professional job. Because ultimately, I suppose if you did a report and it was wrong, there's repercussions to that, isn't it? Just as there is with us.
And so we carry professional indemnity insurance to cover that. So if we were to make a mistake, which hopefully we never do, but touch wood, there is that as a backup. But yeah, why wouldn't you come to a professional if you want a job doing properly? You don't muddle through. You go and ask somebody who knows what they're doing, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's good. It's good to know that we're not the only industry that struggles with that, but it's probably no different for you, Ad, is it? Sometimes when you're looking at professional services, who should I use? Well, I'll go with this guy because he's £200 cheaper, but then you get the photos and they don't look at the right quality. So yeah, it's a constant battle, but hey-oh, this education really is to sort of say, actually sometimes it's worth investing in the services that you buy to get a better outcome. Talking about sort of service-wise then, a self-indulgent question. Have you been happy with our service over the years? Because I think we've looked after you for 3 or 4, maybe 5 years now.
Yeah, something like that. So we set up 3 years ago. So the company was set up 3.5 years now.
Yeah.
But before that, we were talking to Nigel about our own pensions and things like that. So we keep coming back. And we keep sending people your way, so you've got to be doing something right.
Hopefully, yeah. No, to be honest, a big part of our business where we've come to, and yeah, me and Nigel particularly been working together for 5-6 years now, and Ella, of course. So although Celtic Financial in its current form is 12 months old, the business and where we've come with the client journey is 5-6 years old. It all come down to the recommendations. It's what's really built the business. Yeah. I find it's the best source of business because ultimately it's a barrier you don't have to jump when someone said actually the good go and see them.
And on the same, so I've advertised once. So when I first set up, I put an advert in the Mould Connect magazine. Yeah. And then since then, I don't think anything actually ever came from that. But it's referrals from architects, builders. Yeah, it just keeps coming in. And
it's funny where paths cross, because I spoke to an architect recently and we were talking about local structural engineers, and your name came up as a good one. Okay. AK Architects,
oh, yes. Alice and Tom.
Yeah. So it is a small world, isn't it? So I think it actually pays to do a good job, and it quickly spreads good words, doesn't it? Yeah. It's half the battle.
It is, yeah. You need to keep a good reputation. Because without that, you're nothing really, aren't you?
Yeah, in a nutshell.
Yeah.
You heard it here. You heard it here first. Another thing I wanted to talk about, because you're one of those cases where there's two complexities. Obviously, you've got your personal finances, which Nigel's been looking after for 4 or 5 years now. Yeah. But then obviously we've got involved with Barnard Engineering with the financial planning there. Do you think that's a benefit, having a financial advisor that can look at all elements of your life really?
Oh yeah, definitely. Because with any of it, I know my business, but I don't know. I've never run a company before. I've never had to have employees. I've never needed to know what company pensions are like and setting them up, things like that. I've had company pensions. It's just something that somebody's told me I should have one. Yeah. I pay the money and forget about it. So to have people that we can come to and seek advice and get them to do the legwork really, because presumably we could have set them up ourselves.
Yeah, it's one of those things in financial planning. It's like mortgages. You can go and get your own mortgage. You just run the risk of, are you getting the best one? Are you getting the advice to go with it? Yeah. Because ultimately, it's all about those little products. So you could go and set up your own pension scheme, and many employers do. And to be honest, many employers are probably doing a good job. But it's also having the audit trail, because when it comes to pensions for a company, if the pensions regulator knock on your door and you haven't got the right file, even though you might have the right outcome and the best product for what you need, if you haven't got the audit trail of how you got there and who you sort of discounted, then you're leaving yourself open to having people say that actually you've not done the best job for your workforce. So as part of our job as financial advisors, we look at the whole of the market because we're independent. We'll do the analysis and the research, and we've got it documented. So if any of our clients have a knock on the door to say, why did you choose this pension? Well, we've got a good report and a good research file to go along with it. So it's not just a stab in the dark. And that's the key. That's the key difference between us and do it yourself.
Yeah, and that's what it would have been for me. It would have been a stab in the dark. I would have had to rush something through because I haven't got the time. I'm too busy trying to do my own job rather than work out everything else. So yeah, it's far better to pay somebody who knows what they're doing, give you a good service. Yeah, very happy.
Quote that one as well.
I'll sign that.
Sign that one. No, it's true. It's true. Looking at Barnard Engineering then, 2020, it's a new decade. lots of exciting things going on in the world, such as wars, which hopefully will pan out all right. But what does it hold in store for Barnard Engineering? Any exciting stuff going on?
Much of the same, really. We tend not to know what's going on that far in advance, because the domestic work often is somebody will phone up and they want us by the end of the week, by the end of the month, to come and do something. It's all very short term. I suppose with Brexit things might change. If people decide they haven't got the money to spend on moving house or conversions, alterations. There's no way we can predict that, so not a great deal we can do about it, really.
How are you seeing the commercial elements from Brexit, such as sort of schools, hospitals, that type of work? Any changes there that you've noticed?
Not that we've noticed. We're just starting on a framework with AK Architects and some others, looking at jobs across North Wales. That seems to be starting off from now going forward. It's not that it's going to be dropping off soon. So that's looking at schools, ambulance stations, anything like that, all the public sector things that have to go out to tender. So there's jobs out there for that. And the bigger jobs, the things like the nuclear jobs are so long term, and they're government led. It's like HS2. It's not going to change by Brexit. That is going to go ahead whether anybody likes it or not, and the contractors and engineers that are on that will free up space behind them for the other jobs. So the market is more open, I feel, because of the work like that. So I don't see there's going to be a big issue. We've not noticed a downturn at all. It's going the other way at the moment.
Yeah. No, well, obviously, congratulations with the latest team member coming on board. But you're quite right. It's great, but at the same time, it creates new responsibilities that you didn't have before. It's all good.
Yeah,
well, you know where we are anyway.
Other people to worry about, yes.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's having, the support mechanisms, and that's one of the reasons that we got the Celtic Community Network. People don't have to go there every week, every fortnight. But it's hopefully a good resource where local businesses can go in and tap into other local professionals to pick up services that you might now need, such as fire safety, or whether it's a builder to do some, work on the office extensions, wherever it might be. I think it's quite good as a local community. We tap into local services.
It is, because you're better keeping the jobs local if you can, rather than outsourcing all over the place. Yeah. I mean, I get dragged all over the place. I go to Wigan and Leeds and London, and it's as if I'm the only engineer in the country sometimes. I don't know why I get dragged all the way down there, but yeah, it's I suppose if you've got specialisms in certain areas, you do. But
no, I like that terminology, GP of structural engineering.
General
practitioner.
General practitioner. Yeah, that's how. There's not a role like that.
I can see that being on the website, Andy.
Well, it should do. Yes, yeah. Because when you try and list out all the different things that we can do, it's almost everything. There's very little that I won't or haven't done before.
Yeah.
Certain things you need to have specialisms in, and there's bigger contractors that will do that. But yeah, I like being the little GP.
The GP, yeah. The mould-based GP.
The mould-based GP. Yeah.
Centre of the universe. One thing I wanted to talk to you about as well, which is really relevant to a lot of our clients, certainly clients looking to buy older properties, because something we recommend as mortgage advisors when it comes to older properties is that they do their due diligence a bit more carefully than what they might with a new build. You buying an old property, it might have old problems, it might have issues with roofing, or some structural concerns. Is there any sort of tips and recommendations you give to buyers of old properties in particular, what they should be considering, and why a structural report might be useful?
You don't necessarily have to get a structural report straight away, but it would be worth getting a proper home buyer's report by a chartered surveyor, so an RSCS surveyor.
Yeah.
And they will pick up issues on damp, electrics, roof, drainage, all sorts of things like that. And if they pick up that there's structural issues, then that's when you get a structural engineer. I wouldn't, on a building that doesn't show any defects, there's no need to have a structural report.
Right.
So it's not something that you have to get. But yes, I'd get a proper proper home buying survey done.
And typically those chartered surveyors would then identify if there's further reports that would be
Yes.
needed, yeah?
Yeah, and then that's the point you would call me in, and I would come and identify what the defects are, what's caused them, and come up with solutions for them.
Great. Excellent. If clients want a structural engineer, how do they get hold of you? What's the best way to contact Barnard Engineering?
On our website, contact details, email, there's a contact form, phone us up, come and see us in the office, however anybody wants to do it.
Excellent. Last indulgent question, I promise, from us.
Okay.
From someone who doesn't know who Celtic Financial Planning are, why would you recommend someone come and talk to us, which hopefully you do?
Yeah, well, because you're all very approachable. It's not hard to talk to you about what we want, even if we don't know what we want. If we can describe the situation, then you've always come up with a solution, whether it's for personal finance, pensions, for the office. Yeah, you've done everything we've always wanted you to do.
Bit like Ron Sill.
Ron Sill, exactly. Yes, you should get something on the front of your building.
Yeah, not sure Ron Sill will be happy with that.
No.
We do what it says on the tin.